Hey everybody, welcome back. Kevin here. And in this video, we're going to look at adding bulk actions to our flights table that we've constructed over the course of this tutorial. Now, here in the browser, we'll see that we have a few items listed in our table, and we want to perform an action on multiple items at one time instead of diving into each item individually to edit them. Now, this is similar to how post types work in that we'll have these little checkboxes to tick, and we can perform multiple actions, let's say move to trash, and then apply that action to the checked items all at one time, again, instead of having to dive into each individual item. So this can really help boost our productivity for certain tasks. So let's jump over to the code and build out this implementation of bulk actions for our table. So I'm here in the flights plugin under views, which is under resources, and then we're in the index. I did the jumping around just to confuse you. I'm pretty good at that. And so we're going to grab this table object, which is an instance of the table class, and we're going to set bulk actions. And the first thing that we need to do is pass a form to this bulk action. So we're going to wrap our table in an HTML form, and then that form can be submitted off to our network so we can perform those actions on whatever is submitted. And so we can use confirm here. It could be because, if the user submits by accident, we don't want them to edit or delete, for example, which is what we'll be doing, creating a delete method, all of their items without first confirming that. So what we'll do here is we'll next list the options that will go into our select box that will appear next to our apply button. We'll want delete as the label, and then we're going to use the value of delete for the value of the option within the drop-down menu. Okay, so here we've created our form, and that should do it for us. And the thing to note here is whenever a form is created, that form will always submit to the page that it's on if we're not telling it, for example, say to page flight index. So this would manually tell it to, hey, always submit to the flight index, but this form is on the flight index URL, so we don't really have to define that here. So let's jump over to the browser and then see what we have. And here in our flights tab, we will refresh the page, and here we have our checkboxes and the bulk actions at the bottom. If we go to delete, we can hit apply. It's asking us to confirm, so we can click OK. And then here it did submit to that flight index page, which is our route in TypeRocket. And then it does provide us the fact that the bulk actions were performed in the URL. If we open up the inspector here, and then I go to the network tab, doc, I'm going to refresh the page one more time, and then hit apply bulk actions. We'll click on this, and then we'll look for the post request that gets sent to see what is getting sent over for us to then look at and decide what we want to do when it hits the controller that we'll connect this to. So here we have a put request, and then what's being sent over is the TR fields that we've seen before. That's our select box, and it's -1 because we didn't select anything here. It was just bulk actions. If we hit delete, we'll hit apply, confirm, click in, scroll down, and we'll see that the action is delete, which is the value that we put into the bulk actions options list. So again, we're having a put method on our flight route, and then we have custom fields that we want to grab, and TR bulk action is the custom field that we want to grab from our controller, so we know that, hey, the user wants to delete whatever they selected in terms of the checkboxes. Okay, so that's what we're going to build here, and let's jump to the code and just do that. So here we are in our code. I'm going to jump to our flight controller, and actually, let's not go there yet. Let's hook up our route. I think that's a good place to start. So on our flights plugin here, this file, we're going to grab our resource pages. And again, this just creates those admin routes for us. And whenever we create resource pages, the main page that gets returned from this function here is the index route. So we can use this index route that gets returned and just chain on to that and map an action. So the action that we want to map is that put request that we saw, and then we want to send that put request that gets sent to the index or the flight index route. What action do we want to call on our controller? And we'll call this bulk. So now whenever a put request is submitted, and it will be submitted from this form because put is the method that's getting submitted by default, then we're going to jump over to this bulk action for our controller. So now in our controller, what we'll do is we can add a bulk action here. So, and we'll just call the bulk action the bulk method. And then the first thing that we want is the request. Again, this is TypeRocket HTTP request. Click on here, request. And now that we have the request, we can do something with it. So the first thing that we want to do is to draw out the fields that get applied. And this will essentially give us our action. So the action from bulk actions was the fields, and it was tr underscore bulk action. Save this, jump back to the browser, reinspect the page. Maybe we still have network. If not, we'll just resubmit. So I'm going to do this, apply, confirm, click in, scroll down. And here, again, tr is what our fields are located in, and then we have tr underscore bulk action. And the value was delete that was submitted. And because we have a controller and we did not return any value, we have a blank page when we submitted, so that is actually correct. And let's jump to the code and actually return something. So let's return that action. Jump back to the browser, refresh the page, and here we returned delete as a string. So that's what it's showing us, which is excellent. So let's get this page back. So the thing that we're going to want to collect next are the items from that checkbox, the checkboxes that were selected in our list here. So if I select these two and I hit delete, what am I going to get? So let's hit apply here and inspect the page first. We're just gonna jump back to network. Okay, so here, let's select two again, hit delete, hit apply, hit okay. This is a great way, just using the network tools to see what gets passed through. So here we see that the checkboxes are being passed as this bulk item here. It's not part of our field group, and that's fine. So we just need to make sure instead of grabbing fields, we're going to grab the post data that's sent from the request. So then to get our IDs, we're going to grab the request, and then we're going to get the post data, or data from the post request, and that will be of what key? Bulk. Okay, and that'll give us our IDs. And now we can look and see if we have some IDs. So if we have, let's say, not empty IDs, then we're good to go. And then we also want to make sure that our action is equal to delete. So if we have IDs and our action is delete, then we need to delete some things. What do we need to delete? We need to delete some flights. So let's grab that flight model and then make sure that what is imported is the My Flights flight model from the plugin or your corresponding plugin. And back here. And then we'll just create a new instance of that. And then what do we want to do? Well, we want to delete some stuff. And the nice thing about this delete method on the flight model is we can just pass our IDs for that directly in, and that will delete our items. And this essentially would be enough. This would give us our bulk actions, and we could call it a day. However, we want to clean up what is returned so we don't just get that delete string on the page. So the best thing to do is actually to return a redirect. So let's do a redirect. And we can do tr redirect. Or you can import it up here in the top of the page. So we could do redirect. And we could do it that way as well. And let's just do it that way for the fun of it, okay? And here we can say we have our redirect and we want to go to a page. And because this is a bulk action, we're going to go to flights. We're just flight, index, and that will be our path. So instead of returning a string of the action whenever we submit, we're going to always redirect back to the page. So that's what we're returning here. However, if we're not doing any action, then we need to say, let's flash a message. And we're going to flash the message to that main index page and say, no bulk action selected. And then let's flash an error type message And we have a few options here. It can be success, which is the default. And then we have error, and I think warning, maybe info is another one. And so we can flash that message. And then we also want to flash something if we get a redirect that does delete items. And we'll throw an error. No, we'll do a success. Let's do success. And then we will say on here maybe which records were deleted. So records deleted. And then we can give it a list of IDs. So I'm just going to take that list of IDs and implode it. And just do like that. And now it will tell me which IDs were deleted. And I could also go a step further here. Maybe I want to keep logs of this information. And with TypeRocket Pro, you can do this. So we'll use the TypeRocket Pro utility log. We'll log, say, info. And then we will take this message. And let's make a message here. This is like a little bonus feature just because we're going quickly, and because we can have a little fun. So we'll log a message, and this will actually log information to our primary logs directory that's set up in our config file for our application. So for us, we were using this theme, main theme, and our app is configured to put our log files in a specific path. So if I go over here to path, we will see, I don't know if logs is actually in here, but we'll scroll through. If not, then it's going to go into this storage path. And this storage path is located under our alt path, which is the theme, under storage. And here we have logs. So we're going to actually log out, hey, some things were deleted for our backend people to be able to look at, maybe our server administrators. So if anything goes wrong, we at least have some sort of record, something happened. Okay, so we'll say records deleted, and then we'll see, let's do flight records deleted, just so our log is a little bit more informative. It's not much good to say, hey, we just deleted some records and then not know what happened. And now we have our message. It will get logged and we'll redirect with a nice message. And let's jump over to our bulk actions and see if we have any errors, correct them. If we don't have any errors, then we're good to go, and we'll check our logs. So let's close this out. Get to flights here. We'll delete some options. We will confirm that action. And we did delete records 4 and 5. Excellent. And that was the IDs that were passed. Jump to the code, check our logs. And here we'll see on production, we deleted some flight records 4 and 5. And that's it for bulk actions. Pretty simple. And we'll see you in the next one.